So if you're posting videos and you're not getting the views, and more importantly, you're not getting paid from your content, you're probably speaking to the wrong group. I spent years trying to figure this out. When I finally got it dialed in, my businesses took off, my content took off, everything just clicked. And so anyways, I just broke this down for a live group here. These people paid a lot of money to be in the room, and I went through the entire framework. So for today's video, you guys are in for a treat. If you are looking to take your business and your content to the next level, this is gonna be the unlock. And this is the graph that changed everything for me. This changed my entire business, okay? So right now, this is a continuum. This is basically a path where people travel, okay, online. There's on the one side is the never. These are people that will never do business. They're not open to what you're saying. They're not there. On the opposite side are people that are ready to buy now. They're ready to transact. You guys feel me on that? Like, you understand what I'm saying here? So this is all the people on social. The middle is 80% of people. They might be there. They might be interested. They may not be. They may not even be aware of you or the problem you solve or any of that stuff. And before we even get into this, I just want you guys to realize, like, there's so much in just simplicity and having clarity on what you want to do. When you have too many steps, you can't take action. You ever wonder why you go to Netflix and you're browsing videos for 30 minutes and then you give up and you just go back to your phone? Because there's too many choices. So it's not that people are lazy. It's not that people don't know and they're uneducated. It's that you have too many options. So if you leave with something today or tomorrow, I would just tell you this, you need to leave with clarity. That's what I left with in one event. I was rolling around doing all kinds of shit for years, and I got clarity in a seat just like this. I was sitting in an event and something clicked finally. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that. F all this other noise over here or all this, dabbling in different things. I'm just going to go all in on one opportunity. And when I did that, it worked. Because 80% effort gets you 80% results. 100% effort gets you 1,000%. So that last bit is where people are just dabbling. That's where you can really get the tweak here. So this is what I decided to do. I said, I'm going to start putting out content to this group in the middle, okay? Because everybody is focused right here. So in my business, in real estate and all that stuff, it's very transactional. People are looking for deals. They want to get paid today. So everyone's just like vultures on this last sliver of people. What about all the money over here in the middle? So what I did was I created a one-to-many, instead of one-to-one, one-to-many marketing plan for the middle, okay? And the difference is you still need one-to-one. You still have to call people. You still have to close. And, even Omar, he's doing one-to-many selling, but then it works. And then maybe you have to follow up with a few people. That's fine. But that would be all in this now, ready to buy now. But how do you get people there? This is the what everyone's working on. And what most people do is they just wait there and then they fight over people there. The reason why I was stuck at a certain level in business and income was because I was talking to people too late. If you wait to talk to people when they're ready for your opportunity, you're just a choice among many. If you talk to them 6 months before they're ready, you're the only one they want to work with. If you help them move along this continuum, you're the only one they want to work with. Also, you have premium price. You can have a premium offer because you met them earlier here. Over in the now category, everybody's fighting on price and it's a race to the bottom. That's when, people in real estate have to cut commissions and go to zero and all this kind of stuff. It's a discount model. What you need to do is come up with your one-to-many marketing plan for the middle. So I'll share with you mine, okay? And then hopefully this will inspire a few of you. Mine starts with content. And I was not on YouTube. I was doing short form on Instagram. So I built my community on Instagram. So I'm posting content to the middle. Now, the problem is most content is structured to the now crowd in any business, whatever it is that you guys do or whatever you're going to offer. You're talking to people assuming that they're ready to buy. You need to talk to people assuming that they're 6 months away, a year away. Speak to the earlier version of you, who's just not even ready to transact. The problem most people have is they're so salesy, they're so hungry for a deal or whatever program you're offering. Most of the content, if not all of the content, is sales. And the problem with most people's one-to-many marketing is it's not really helpful. So when Omar does a free call, when I do a free webinar, the people that come to that leave better off. They don't have to buy anything from us. It's actually valuable. right? If you get a lead magnet from me, if you get a lead magnet from more, it's actually valuable. It will help you in your business and it costs you nothing. So my free content is better than what some people would charge for, right? And that's what makes it actually effective. The problem that we're heading into right now is there's so much content out there and there's so much free stuff on lead magnets. Most of it is trash. Many times it's generated by AI. So in a world where everything's just slop in the middle, you want your stuff to appear premium. You want it to be real, like it's actually helping people. That's what's going to cut through all the noise. So, and I'll give you a quick example. I have an event. People will reach out to me all the time asking me, how do you fill events? Because their events are dying. Like, no, people aren't showing up. They're not buying tickets. And then we sell out every year because our thing is actually helping people. We really focus on the experience. We really want it to work. So that's what my middle step is content. Now, content would probably be more closer to the never side. That moves them along, right? My next step to people in the middle would be a webinar or a live event. I hope you're enjoying this video, and I want to continue to put out the absolute best content that's going to help you move your business and brand forward, but I need your help. So many of you guys are watching this channel, but you're not subscribed. And that's the number one thing that's going to help me grow. So if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. Normally I'd have a fancy ad read and promote some product, but today all I want you to do is just subscribe to the channel. And now let's get back to the episode. So I'm a big fan of conversion events. These are events where you would get somebody from your audience who maybe has seen your content and then get them into a room, okay? Now, there's a study that was done by Google that educated, this was across e-commerce, different offers, different industries, but they came to the conclusion that a consumer, a viewer online needs 7 hours of content in order to make a transaction, in order to be in a place where they could buy from you, right? 7 hours. Now, that's going to be hard to do with 30-second videos on Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff, right? So you're getting little hits all along the way. You can get there over time, but the better way would be to get those people from there into an event, into a webinar, into a challenge, whatever it is that your next step would be, right? And so you will just always struggle if you don't have a plan for this one-to-many marketing, because you'll just be stuck here. And you'll just be chasing money here. So this is the work. This is what you guys have come here to learn. This is the game plan. And some people have it as a funnel from top to bottom. I'm just doing it from left to right. Okay. So my first step would be content that you see on social. Now, there's some people might be just from the content be ready to purchase. Now, I want to get him into a conversion event. I didn't even have long form YouTube. I just posted short form. I started since the last couple of years because Omar told me to. It was like, hey man, you need to get your YouTube going. Where's your long form at? So just from a few things that he taught me on long form, I've been able to take my channel on YouTube, 1 hour videos on YouTube. And I think we're at 35,000 subscribers and growing. And that's going to take off for me as well. But that's another step for people here in this middle to get to that 7 hours of content with me. Your goal is to just keep hitting them in different places so that they can get that 7 hours. Now, the cool thing about a 1 hour webinar or a multi-day challenge is you can compress the 7 hours into just an hour. If you do it really well, you can actually make time go fast if you do this correctly. My thing is, market to these people and do it better than my competitors. Just give it that little bit of extra effort. Small tweaks, big leap. Small tweak, like Dylan's in the back here. We're working on content today. We're literally debating over what's the one line we should put at the beginning of this video. If we change one word in the beginning of the video, it might change the number of people who view this from 100 to 1,000 to 10,000 to maybe even 1 million. Just from one line, right? Where else in business can you do that, right? That's the power of content marketing, digital marketing. So this is where, you can push people into your thing. Now, I will tell you with content, I have a formula for doing this. And with the stuff that you see on social right now, with the best people online, you'll find that the best marketers are making this not yet crowd feel smarter, not sold to. You do not want to sell to these people like everyone's doing here. You want to be different and you want to make them feel smarter. So the one thing I can leave you with from a content strategy, from an event strategy, from a webinar, whatever it is that you're going to be doing to this middle group, you want to make people feel smarter. You want to make them better off for having watched your video. Okay. Like we can give you some viral hacks. There's a lady who taught viral hacks at this event I was at, and she'll tell you to jump up and down. One of her videos is viral because she puts her butt out on the couch. I'm like, well, I'm not going to do any of that shit. I'm like, sorry if I curse a little bit. I'm working on it, but you know what I mean? Like I'm not going to do that stuff, but I'm going to give you real value. I'm going to help you in your business. I'm going to help you in your life. And so that's the part that I think is going to change. You can't really compete with all these people who are doing these crazy things on social for views. So the other thing that I've noticed right now is attention goes to those who can educate, not just advertise. Okay, so you'll find that most people are running ads to an offer. Now you can make money doing this, but the real attention, the real money is going to be made with people who make you smarter, people who help you improve your life, your business. Those are the people who get respect. Now, I'll give you guys a quick example. There's a guy in my content group. He teaches finance hacks, budget hacks, credit card points, how to convert, your Marriott to this so you can get a free seat on this airline, all that kind of stuff. Free stuff. The best savings rates. And it's actually helpful. I like it. And he does the top 7 places, top 6 things. Okay, so he's grown his audience to millions of followers on social. And last I checked, he's almost to 2 million people. And he's like, wow, dude, this is crazy. It's working. Now, let me give you another example of influence. The other day, let me tell you maybe this will make me feel old in this room, but do you guys remember the Stinger from the 1990s, Alanis Morissette? You remember that shit? He's like, no, bro, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you don't even know. So look at this. Some people don't know. It's fine. But I just remember this being a big singer when I was like growing up, whatever. Well, I just saw she posted that she is announced a residency at the Caesar's Palace at the thing. And it's like millions of dollars. They're going to sell all these seats, and it's a huge deal, right, for her at this point in her career. And I was like, well, let me just see like how many followers she has. She has 2 million followers on Instagram. So let me get this straight. This dude in my group who's been posting videos for a year has 2 million followers on Instagram, and he could sell you a free thing on how to get the best credit card points. And then you got this lady over here with 2 million followers on Instagram who could literally sell out the arenas and make tens, maybe $100 million for the company, right? So this example is to say that all followers are not created equal. All audiences are not created equal. You don't want to create an audience where people just want free crap from you, Like they don't really respect you. They just like the information. Like there's people on TikTok with millions of followers, and they could announce that they're in Las Vegas here for a weekend, come do a meetup with me at the Durango. No one would show up. And it happens. Like no one will show up to those. There was a famous case of this happening at a VidCon or Vid Summit, one of those YouTube conferences. The TikTok influencer rooms were empty. So you want to actually connect with the audience. That's why I say I don't really care about the number of followers, number of subscribers. I care more about the value of the audience. I would rather have 1,000 people who stop and watch my video and respect me than 1 million people who just scroll past me, right? It's more important to get quality right now. Okay, so this is my formula I'm going to leave you guys with and walk you through these steps. We need to move people, right, from left to right. And I was doing this by accident, and then I put it into a formula, and it's been helping people in our group convert more, go from 6 figures to 7 figures, go from 0 to multiple 6 figures. It just depends on where you're at in business. So the first step is to make them notice. Now, I'm going to do that with my content. And there's a few things you can do with content to do this. And then the next step is going to be offer them clarity. This moves them along. And then vibes is a part of this. For me, vibes, I will share more. I'll be more myself in my content. I'll share personal things. I do about an 80-20 split, 80% business, 20% personal, maybe some weeks 70-30. But I will tell you, if you don't have anything personal in your content, it's just going to be noise. Like people won't connect with you really. So I would encourage, if you want a personal brand to really be powerful, to include the vibes in there. I like giving people a framework. There's 5 Fs. It was actually 4, but Omar added 1 more. It was food, faith, family, fitness, and then he added fashion. I wear the same shit every day, so I don't have that set. Like, you look at my closet, it's just a row of black t-shirts. But he's like, bro, you got to add the fashion. So I'm like, okay, so there's 5 Fs: food, faith, family, fitness, fashion. That would be your vibes section of Move. Include that. Some dude told me the other day, like, you can swap out one of those Fs with whatever you want. This guy at the last event told me he's a degenerate gambler. I would probably leave that one out of the apps, but whatever you want to put in is fine. Just put in what you like. There's a guy in our group, he loves hiking. He teaches during his hike. That's his vibes. The algorithm shows his content to more people who are outdoorsy. He finds his tribe now, right? You see this? So I found that many people in our community, because I teach this to hundreds, now thousands of people online in different settings, I found that the one thing that would connect them with the most people, they're hiding. They're literally putting behind the curtain because they're embarrassed or they think no one would like, or they're just scared of what people will say. If you build up the courage and just send it and put it out there, you'll find your tribe. Like people will actually connect with you. Think about Omar. How many things do you know about him? You know about his faith. You know about his family. You might even know his kids' names. Right? No, you can put out as much or as little of that as you're comfortable with. I know some people maybe don't want to put their family or their kids on there. That's fine. But you got to do some of this, okay? And then the last step on the move is E, enable the next step. This is where you make a call to action to get into my conversion event, whatever the next step would be. I have found that most people don't even have a next step. So if I pulled up any of you guys' Instagram bios right now, and maybe you're working on your offer, that's fine. But if you do have an offer, what is the clear next step to take with you? And there's nothing there. It's like, hey, book a call. What if I'm not ready for a call? There's no next step. So that's going to be the process here. And how I get people to notice me on social, this is something that is something a little more advanced, but I want to make sure you guys got this because this is high level. Like this will actually make your content stand out. Whenever you want to reach more people with a piece of content and get more views, you don't want to be the expert in that video. Like I know a lot of us have expertise. We've been doing things for a while. Whenever I make an observation, instead of being the expert, it will automatically get more views. So let me give you the example. Let me break this down for you guys. So let's just say I want to start off a video and I want to say, this is the number one thing you need to do, or the top 3 things you need to do before you buy a home or whatever. If I'm in real estate, I would say that, right? Or these are the top 3 things you need to do before you launch your offer. Now, that assumes you guys know me as the expert. That assumes, like Omar did right now, he told you guys about me and then I came up. So now you guys give me respect. But the average person on social doesn't know who you are. So the better way would be to make an observation. So I would say like this strategy is going viral right now. This strategy is helping people and it's for a good reason. You guys should learn about this. And then I'll tell you about it. So what you do is you start with an observation and then you insert your expertise in the video somewhere. Now, every person who sees your content, your carousel, your video on social media,
they're thinking in their head, who are you to tell me this?
Whether they say it out loud or whether it's just subconscious, they're thinking, who are you to explain this to me? You can bypass that whole logic by just making an observation. I'll do this a lot. I'll put a headline in the first 3 seconds. I'll be, did you guys see this? This just came out from Washington. This is going to be big news. And then I insert my expertise behind it. This is like my formula for going viral anytime I want to, honestly. And it works. I'll give you guys another tidbit on how I learned this. I was looking at Alex Hormozi. You guys know Alex Hormozi? He didn't know Alanis Morissette. He knew Alex Hormozi though, right? For sure, yes.
Follow the money, baby.
That's it, right? So anyways, he just did like some Guinness Book of World Record stuff, right? $100 million in one day or in one book launch, insane. But anyways, I was looking at their content because they have 10 people just working on his content. Video editors, long form, short form, writers, designers for graphics, all kinds of stuff. And all these guys do, they treat content like a business. They're looking at the metrics, how many people did reach. So I look at what are they doing right now. And he's the expert, right? So he can say he's the expert because everybody knows him as expert because he spent the last 5 years establishing that on social. And he's done the work. So he can put expert content all day and it will work. Now, Sharran, my friend, became president of acquisition.com and now he works there and he got access to this multi-person team and they're helping him build his brand. And he's not as well known as Alex Hormozi. So I looked at what are the pieces of content that are blowing up for Sharran. And by the way, he's worth tens of millions. I don't know. He never tells me how rich he is. I think he might be richer than I think. But he's worth a lot of money. He could very well say, I'm the expert. But I noticed even with him, 40 years old, true expert, his most viral content right now is observation content. He'll start off by saying, here's a pattern I noticed. Here's something I saw with my richest friends. Or here's something like, so when I saw that, I was like, wow, I'm going to try this. So on Instagram, I do carousels. You guys know what a carousel post is? It's just a section, a group of photos. I changed the first image to be an observation when I put text on it. I said, here's a pattern I've noticed with my wealthiest friends. Here's a pattern I can't unsee. Here's something that I came across. Boom, it went from 20,000 views to 200,000 views. 10x by just changing the first line. So this is one of those small tweaks, big leaps. Hopefully this helps you guys. Does this help you guys? All right. I didn't want to, confuse anybody, but this is like the high level stuff. I literally just taught this to a group that paid me $15,000 to be in the room. And I'm giving it to you guys. Like, this is the presentation I just brought from there. Because I'm like, we gotta actually give you the real stuff. I could tell you some BS, but I'm like, no, let's go. Let's pull back the curtain. Let's do it for real. So
I just made this video right in that room right next door.
And it got me so much business on the real estate side because I'm on both sides of the business. And what I did was I put the headline. I could teach this as an expert. I've been doing mortgages for 20 years. I'm very well qualified. But instead, I'm going to borrow Fortune magazine and I'm going to use that to start my video. So I'll start the video with that. And then what I've noticed is when you do this correctly, I'll just randomly go into my shares. And so many people in the industry will share my content because I explained it the best on that given day. So you'll find a lot of your people will start to, a big sign of respect is if they're sharing your videos, sharing your carousels on social media, because that means like they like what you're doing, right? There's nothing more of a positive signal than someone sharing the content. And what's crazy is many of these people will ask me, is it okay if I share your video? I'm like,
bro, let me get this straight.
You want to introduce me as the expert to your audience? Yeah, we'll go ahead and approve that, like it's good. We'll send it. So this happens all the time. And the reason why you make more money that way is because if you look at a bell curve,
it used to go like this, up and down. So meaning that there's this big group in the middle that makes decent money.
What we've changed to and what most people are asleep on is we're now in the market of a power curve. Very few people making money. Very few people making money. At the top of the curve, people are making enormous sums of money, right? It's not fair anymore. This is why right now, this summer, I just read a stat. There was a record set for the number of Americans traveling to Europe this past summer. You know another stat? There was a record set for the number of people at food banks. We're no longer in a fair economy, a fair business world. It's not fair. It's sad, honestly. But what are you going to do about it? Are you going to wait for politicians to help you? Or are you going to do something? That's why we're here today. All you have to do is move up a little bit in this power curve, and you make double, triple, 10x the money than people that are below. And so what that is for me, some people will say, well, that's selfish. You just want to make all this money. And there's a big movement against people who make money. Well, let me tell you what money means for me. Money means I can give more people opportunities. Money means I can hire more people, right? So money is not bad. Money allows you to serve others. It's a tool, right? We can create jobs. We can create opportunities. I can help people like you guys make more money.
And then it can all grow up. So
just think about this, especially when you start making a lot more money, you'll hear from people in your networks that will demonize you. But the reason why they're mad at you is because they wish they were doing the same shit. You know what I mean? So don't ever listen to that. I can go on rants sometimes, sorry guys, but I just want to make sure you guys know. Money's not bad. So this is like, again, this is the exact thing I just told you guys. I start off with a observation, a pattern I can't unsee. Now, some people have too big of an ego to make an observation because they want to be the guy who's the expert. Well, I do that too. I have an expert piece too. It doesn't mean you can't do that, but just sometimes do this. But again, remember what I told you earlier. We want to make the audience feel smarter. Don't talk down to people. Meet them where they're at. Help them.
Move them along the chain. Move them along that path.
The other thing I do is I'll show people instead of just telling them. So anytime I could interrupt videos with showing them with some numbers on a screen, on a notepad somewhere, that's what's going to help them.
People are visual learners. And I was wondering, why does a video for me get more views when I show things on a whiteboard or on a notepad?
It's a psychological phenomenon that's going on. It's actually reducing the cognitive load on the viewer. It's easier for them to learn when you show them something because people are visual learners. When all you do is give them words, they have to connect all the dots in their head. If you show them the stuff, now they can do it. Like if I was trying to show you that continuum, that path, but I just told you about it, you guys would get what I'm saying because it's a high level group. But when I put it on here visually, you're like, oh, I got you. Makes it easier for you to learn. So anytime you have an opportunity to do that in a piece of content, please do it. You'll help your audience get smarter. And this is the other cool part about that is most creators are just talking, and you could be the one that shows them proof. Anytime I could show proof, it's going to get more views. It's going to get more respect from the audience. It's going to make you stand out. Okay, vibes. I was just telling you, connect, trust. I would encourage you guys to share more of your personal life, whatever you got going on. And many times I'm like, I don't know if I should post that, and I don't post it. It ends up being the thing that starts the conversation. If there's something that's happened, it could be business related, it could be personal. You should share it because it will be the conversation starter for so many of you. So this goes into that vibes section.
If you ever had something where you made a mistake,
and maybe you did get scammed, maybe like I got robbed, one time. So I even shared that as a cautionary tale for people to start making sure they take their home security seriously. Not for like sympathy or nothing. I was just saying, hey, helping people out, right? So many people connect with that. So anytime you've had a mistake, anything like this, a pivotal moment, if you would share that on social, it's going to connect so many more people with you. Now, I will share with you guys something really quick. I was just traveling back from Vegas. I was coming back to Vegas after a trip. I spoke in 2 cities that week, and it was like a long time, like a long trip. The flight was delayed. I got back at 10 o'clock at night at the Vegas airport. I get off the plane. I walk through the terminal. I get to the Uber section because I didn't want anyone to pick me up because it's too late. And I noticed my backpack felt light. Okay. I left my $4,000 MacBook Pro in the back seat of the plane, the seat back pocket. I was like, dang, I left the thing. So I run back inside, go to the lady there. And I was like, hey, can I get back? I need to get my thing. They're like, oh, the plane's gone. You just need to fill out this form. So I fill it out. And then on the way back to my Uber, I filmed this video. And I'm just telling you, walking through the airport, I just filmed this. I will tell you that there are hundreds of comments from people telling me all the things that they left on the plane. Bro, did you guys know somebody left a kid on a plane? Some people left money on planes. All kinds of crazy things happen. People left bags of money. It's just wild. Okay. So what does this have to do with making money, Neel? Well, let me tell you this. Small talk leads to big talk. It opens the door for conversations. One day we could be talking, me and Luis could be talking about, hey, when he left his iPad on the plane, how'd you get it back, bro? 2 weeks later, I could be buying insurance from him. 2 weeks later, he could be asking me about this program, right? Because the door's open for conversation. Isn't that one of your most viral videos, a personal video?
Yeah, about my sister.
Yeah, he shared a personal moment about his sister, millions of views, right? Insane, right? So this is just how you guys, for some of you in this room, this might be your highest viewed piece of content, and you're sitting on it right now. You just didn't put it out there because you think you might look dumb or you think nobody's interested. I have this thing on my desk. It says, don't say no for the audience. Let the audience say no, but you don't say no. Right now, you guys say no, you don't post it. What if that's the one that's going to help people? What if that's the one that's going to connect you with a life-changing opportunity? Why aren't you sharing it? So anyways, I get hundreds and hundreds of this people helping me. I was at the gym 2 weeks later, Lifetime Fitness here in Summerlin. Some dude taps me on the shoulder and says, hey man, did you ever get your laptop back? I was like, bro, I've made thousands of videos about money. You don't remember any of that shit, but you remember this, right? Why? Because 65% of information is retained when it's tied to a story. Only 5% of information is remembered when it's tied to simply facts. So make sure you're telling stories and personal stories if possible, and you'll connect with more people. I was traveling out to this event. I post on my story, I'm coming out, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget your laptop. People remember this. Someone will come up, somebody here, you guys will forget everything I said today. You'll never forget that. So weird, right? So please share more. I'll remember you as the dude who almost got scammed by Coinbase. We're brothers, bro, because the same shit happened to me, right? So I'll remember you, right? We might do business together because of that. That's what's crazy. This small talk leads to big talk. I'm like, forget the laptop, bro. We figured that out. By the way, I did get it back.
Oh, good.
They said it's lost. I got an email that it's lost for good. And then randomly on a Tuesday, it just shows up in FedEx on my door. So somebody returned it. But I was at an event. This guy, Jesse Itzler, he's a billionaire. He spoke at the event. He told me backstage, he said, the greatest gift you can give yourself is to get over the fear of being embarrassed, right? You guys are too cool to share this content. You're too big time, you know? Just post it. Be vulnerable. Be real. That's how you're going to stand out from all this slop that everyone's putting out there. You'll be the one person like, dude, I connect with you. You're real. You'll get that compliment a lot. I will tell you this, the creator you want to become is on the other side of the content you're afraid to post. You know, just somebody make a commitment here to post something, you know, that maybe is a little uncomfortable. You have to post it and you throw your phone over there. You don't even want to see it. You know, you're just like, dang, I hit send on that. Just send it. Now, I will say someone here might take the information too far and do something crazy and you can get in trouble. So I don't take any liability. You know, you're on your own on that one, bro. But do this within reason, okay? So what's a mistake you've made? I have a bunch of examples of this, but I will. The reason why some of the, you know, sharing more of the stuff you made a mistake on helps because we admire people who, you know, for their struggles more than their success, right? So share more of the things that you messed up. Maybe there's a mistake you made early on in business that you've learned from. Maybe there's a mistake you learned from your marriage that you can help others with your kids, whatever. I will tell you that will be a great one to share. And then the other important point here is we used to be, and I don't know if you guys have done this as well, years ago, we would only share that type of personal content in our Instagram stories because that's like behind the scenes. You know, it's not meant for the public. Well, you need to post it in the feed because when you post it in the feed, it reaches more of your followers, but it'll also reach strangers. Okay. So the other thing I'm going to tell you guys is when you are ready to get them to the next step. So we've done move, like I gave you one framework, observation, not expert. That's one idea. There's many more we could go into, but that one's crushing right now. So use that. Then I gave you guys an opportunity to offer them clarity by showing them, not just telling them, showing them. Then I told you guys about vibes. That's personal content. Now we're to the last step of move. Give them the blueprint. Okay. When you're putting out the next step, even if it's free, you're going to have more success if you give them the blueprint. Don't sell your service. Did you guys know that the mechanic who gets the most views, gets the most clients, is the one who teaches you to fix your own car? Did you know the health and fitness guy, the guru, who makes the most money, multi-millionaire, is literally giving you the workouts? He's not selling his service in the content. He's just saying, I'll give it to you. I'll give you the whole thing. Give it all away. And somebody in here is going to be like, well, Neel, what if they take all my thing and they don't hire me? Well, you didn't have them to begin with. Who cares? Right? So what happens here is when you do this, you get so many more people enrolled in what you're doing. And there's so much trust there that a small segment of those people will transact with you. And that's all you need to win. So while everybody is trying to sell, you can be the one giving, okay? And this is how I actually made the most money when I would give more stuff because you have more trust. And you're not like, in my industry, they call this commission bread, but you're not like, I guess the proper term today would be thirsty.
Yeah.
My wife's like, hey, that seems thirsty. I'm like, yeah. She does that with women on social and then also guys trying to sell stuff on social. Right? So don't be thirsty. Give them away. People want DIY. Everybody wants DIY until you get the box from IKEA and you open it at home. Right? Now you're like, please help me. Give away the secrets. Sell the implementation. Okay? This is the greatest thing you'll learn today from everything that Omar's teaching or what I'm telling you right now. Make sure your free content is better than most people's paid stuff. Make sure your free webinar is actually valuable. Make sure your lead magnet actually moves and helps people. That's a bar, yes. So I will do this a lot where I don't have audio on this, but I just want to share with you guys how I do this is I will give away a lead magnet essentially. So how I'm doing this is I will say, you can do it. Here's the guide. Or come to the webinar and I'll teach you the whole process. You don't want to overteach. That was a mistake I made and Omar's made as well. And now we've learned like you can overwhelm people when you give them too much information. So you don't want to get too tactical there, but you definitely want to give them value and help them move along the way. Now, when they're ready to take action, you can be one person that can actually help them take the next step. And you're the logical person because you've given them so much already, so they trust you. Does this make sense for you guys? Yes, sir. And a lot of us know this. It's like the old Gary Vee jab, 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 right hook. But this is actually needs to be thought about more if you want to win in today's market, especially with all these new marketers and all this slop content that's coming out there. So I'm just going to leave you guys with this quick story. I just had this happen.
By the way, we have all these funnels and stuff that I do in ManyChat. This is all the technical stuff that would kind of be overwhelming for people, but it's actually very easy to do. That I don't want you to get stuck with. But what I want you to understand is that next step that you offer should not be hard. People want the easy button. So somebody told me one time, he's like, I asked one of my coaches, hey, why aren't people signing up for this thing? And he's like, well, you're selling vegetables. It should be candy. So I'm not saying to lie to people. I'm just saying, give them the easy part. Say, hey man, I've spent 10 years figuring this out and I'll give it to you in 60 minutes. Right? I took a year's worth of knowledge, whatever, and I packed it into this 3-page PDF. It's actually going to help you. So you're saving them time. Does that make sense for you guys? So, right now, if you guys if you had to call the restaurant to get the food, you'd be upset. People just want to push buttons and stuff to arrive. So that's what you need to get bought into, is just making your stuff easy. Even the way people sign up for it needs to be easy. If there's too many steps to opting in, all those kinds of technical things, people won't do it. They'll just leave. So make it easy. And I love this quote from Warren Buffett. I'll leave you guys with this, is if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. Right? I was spending all my time one-to-one selling. And it was just, I was burnt out. Like my hair's already all gray. It would be gone by now if I didn't switch. Right? And so all I did was just take some of my time and switch it to one-to-many, which is content and webinars. And by that one decision, ended up becoming a multi-millionaire because of just that one shift. I would have been stuck in the rat race without it, just tired. And so when you think about your path and what you're going to do, find out how can we best serve, like what's going to be your one-to-many thing, and actually get good at it. And I will tell you this, don't worry about adding multiple until you actually get good at one. So I'm 5 years into content. I just got decent at YouTube. Prior to that, I wasn't even on my thing. I was just focused on my short form content. Then I was just focused on getting better at email marketing. Then I was focused on getting better at speaking and presenting and teaching. Then I was focused on it. If I tried to do all at the same time, it would just be a mess. It wouldn't happen. And that's what I've noticed most people do. Big mistake people have is they just dabble in everything. So I would encourage you to get clarity over the yesterday or today and tomorrow. And then what is your clear next step? And then really get good at that thing.